Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news now, Lions fans. If you're tuned in, you already know that the 2023 NFL season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory. And for the Detroit Lions, there's a palpable sense of anticipation, a feeling that this team might finally be on the verge of breaking through that glass ceiling and making a real statement in the league. But as always in the NFL, it's not just about talent on paper. It's about the moves off the field, the strategic decisions, and the roster management that can make or break a season. And right now, there's a lot of chatter about the Lions' defensive front, particularly about how they plan to contend with what looks to be a brutal schedule and some of the league's most explosive offenses. Let's start with the defensive side of things because that's where the Lions are really looking to make a significant leap. Last year, Detroit's defense was a mixed bag, impressive at times, especially when their stars stepped up, but also inconsistent, particularly in the secondary and along the pass rush. Aiden Hutchinson's emergence was a bright spot, no doubt about it. Before his injury in Week 6, Hutchinson was on pace to be a serious contender for Defensive Player of the Year. He had already accumulated 19 tackles and 5 sacks, along with a forced fumble that showcased his ability to change games from the edge. And if you look at the film, it's clear that Hutchinson's pass rush wins were among the most dominant in the league at that stage of the season. According to Pro Football Focus, Hutchinson had recorded 72 pass rush wins in just those 5 weeks, which was an NFL record for a defensive player in that time frame. That's the kind of disruptive force Detroit needs to keep pace with the league's best defenses. And speaking of defense, the Lions know that to truly contend, they need to bolster their pass rush even further. They've got some pieces in place, but the question is whether they can keep their defensive stars healthy and productive. Alan McNeil and Malcolm Rodriguez will be missing the early part of the season due to injuries, which leaves a gap in the middle of the defense that could be exploited by high-powered offenses. Their return later in the season will be crucial, but it puts a premium on bringing in some additional talent to fill that void. Marcus Davenport's comeback is encouraging. He showed flashes last year, but let's be honest, injury-prone players are always a gamble. He's never played a full season in his career, which is why bringing in a consistent, elite pass rusher is so important. This brings us to the big debate: what's the best move for the Lions? Now, the news has been swirling around Trey Hendrickson, the 4-time Pro Bowler from Cincinnati. Hendrickson is in the final year of his contract, and his holdout with the Bengals has dragged on, creating a lot of speculation. The Lions could potentially make a move to acquire him via trade, but that wouldn't come cheap. The Bengals are asking for a hefty price, and Detroit would have to give up draft capital along with some key players to get him. That's a significant investment, and some fans wonder if that's the right approach, especially considering the Lions' current salary cap situation and their desire to keep flexibility for future seasons. But there's another, arguably better, option that's gaining traction among Lions fans and analysts alike. That's re-signing Za'Darius Smith. Smith, the veteran pass rusher, was a great fit for Detroit last year. His leadership, passion, and relentless pursuit of the quarterback made him a fan favorite in no time. During his 7 starts in the 2022 season, Smith racked up 12 tackles and 4 sacks, along with a pass defense. More than just his stats, it was his locker room presence that really resonated. Fans loved his energy and his attitude, and it's clear that he wants to be part of Detroit's rebuild. Smith has openly expressed his desire to stay, and with his ties to the city, dating back to his time in Green Bay and Cleveland, he's practically a Lions hometown hero now. From a financial perspective, re-signing Smith makes a lot of sense. He's not as expensive as Hendrickson, especially considering Hendrickson's asking price for a long-term deal. If the Lions lock him up on a 1-year deal, it keeps their cap space relatively flexible for other moves, whether that's adding depth or addressing other needs. Plus, at 32, Smith still has some good football left in him, and last year's performance showed that he can still be a dominant force when healthy. His 9-0 sacks over 16 games, including his time in Cleveland, demonstrate that he can produce even in his early 30s. Now, let's talk about the future of the Lions' defense, which is so crucial given the daunting schedule that awaits them. Detroit is set to face some of the league's best defenses, ranging from Lamar Jackson's Ravens to Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs, and not forgetting the high-octane Rams offense led by Matthew Stafford. The schedule is arguably one of the toughest in the league, and that means the Lions' defense will be under intense pressure to perform at a high level every single week. They'll also face some of the league's most talented quarterbacks, including Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, and others. To rise to that challenge, Detroit's defense needs to be as strong and cohesive as possible. Historically, the Lions have shown they can perform against top-tier opponents. Remember last year's game against the Bills in Week 15? Jared Goff and Josh Allen went toe-to-toe in an absolute shootout that finished 48-42 for Buffalo. Goff was exceptional, matching Allen's 4 touchdowns, but ultimately, the Lions fell just short. That game proved that Detroit can hang with the best, that their offense can put up points even against elite defenses. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and the Lions demonstrated their resilience by beating the 49ers in a 40-34 thriller, even with some injuries on defense. That game showcased what Detroit is capable of when fully healthy and firing on all cylinders. And speaking of health, that's the big question mark. Kelvin Shepard's defense is more than capable of competing at the highest level, but the early absence of McNeil and Rodriguez leaves a significant gap. Their return later in the season will be critical, but the Lions need to find ways to patch those holes in the meantime. That's why adding a premier edge rusher like Hendrickson or re-signing a proven veteran like Smith could be the difference between a playoff team and a true contender. The Lions are in win-now mode, and every move counts. Now, returning to the key options, re-signing Za'Darius Smith appears to be the smarter, more sustainable move. It's a move that aligns with the Lions' current culture, focused on unity, team-first mentality, and building a roster that can sustain success over multiple years. Hendrickson, while undeniably talented, comes with the baggage of a holdout and a hefty price tag. The risk is not just financial but also cultural. A locker room that values chemistry and cohesion might not appreciate a star player risking his relationship with the team over a contract dispute. Detroit's culture is built on trust, shared goals, and putting the team above individual interests. That's why re-signing Smith, who is already embedded in that culture, makes more sense. And let's not forget the broader picture. Detroit's front office, led by General Manager Brad Holmes, has been aggressive but smart in managing the roster. They've built a core that includes Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penei Sewell, and Kirby Joseph, all of whom are key pieces moving forward. Keeping that core intact while adding a veteran like Smith makes strategic sense. It provides stability and continuity, which are vital when facing such a challenging schedule. Looking ahead, the Lions are not just aiming for a playoff appearance. They want to contend for the Super Bowl. That's the mindset that St. Brown emphasized recently, saying, "For us, it's Super Bowl or nothing." That kind of ambition fuels every decision, every offseason move, and every game. Re-signing Smith aligns perfectly with that goal, giving Detroit a better shot at pressuring elite quarterbacks and disrupting offenses that will test them week after week. Of course, the trade rumors surrounding Hendrickson keep swirling, but they come with caveats. The price would be high, and the risk of upsetting the team's chemistry is real. Plus, Hendrickson's unavailability until he's paid could hinder the Lions' immediate plans. It's a gamble, and as fans, we have to wonder whether the Lions' front office will pull the trigger or stick with what they have, improving from within and trusting their current roster to take that next step. In conclusion, Detroit fans, what's clear is that the Lions are at a crossroads. The choices they make now regarding their pass rush and defensive leadership will shape their season. Re-signing Za'Darius Smith seems like the more sensible, team-oriented move that aligns with their current culture and future ambitions. But the NFL never waits, and Holmes and his staff need to act fast if they want to capitalize on this window of opportunity. The NFC North is ripe for the taking if Detroit can stay healthy, make smart moves, and execute on the field. And with the talent they have, especially on offense with Jared Goff leading the charge, the Lions are more than capable of making a deep playoff run, possibly even returning to the Super Bowl stage. The path is there, the opportunity is real, and the passion among Lions fans has never been higher. This season promises to be unforgettable, and all eyes are on Detroit to see if they can finally seize that elusive championship. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these rumors and options? Do you believe re-signing Smith is the best move, or do you think the Lions should go all in on a trade for Hendrickson? Or maybe you have a different name in mind, someone who could really elevate this team's pass rush. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us, and it definitely counts in shaping the conversation about Detroit's future. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, insights, and analysis, so stay tuned for everything Lions related. Whether it's draft rumors, free agency, or game day previews, we're here to bring you the most comprehensive, engaging, and passionate coverage of your team. Thanks for being part of this Lions family, and let's keep the momentum going. Go Lions!